Okay, folks, how to avoid these 6 deadly trading errors. Okay, Thursday, September the 6th, that's today. And just want to mention too, yes, my name is Hugh. Folks, I'll tell you something. If you want to know all about the stock market, its many instruments and endless strategies, this is not the place for you. But if you want to know how to make money on the market consistently, quickly, and confidently, then you're in the right place, because this is where you need to be. Once again, good afternoon. My name is Hugh Grossman. I'm the head trader and trainer for daytradespy.com. A bit of a background on my history. I used to be an internal auditor for a major insurance company, a Fortune 500 company. And like the good, excuse me, like the good salaried employee, I used to hand off a lot of my money to my financial guru to invest in my retirement. One day I realized when I finally opened up the envelopes they used to send me that, oh my gosh, half of my capital is gone. What's going on here? What do they say? The dentist's kids got the worst teeth. I mean, I should have been on top of this, but I wasn't for some reason, because I thought, well, the future, that's way down the road, right? I mean, I'm sure I'm in good hands, right? And he's going to be really, really good with my account, and everything's going to be really cool. Well, as it turned out, he wasn't. And for whatever reason, but I had some words with him. Mike was his name. And I said to him, essentially, listen, cut me a check for whatever you have left. I've got to figure out how to do this myself, obviously, since you're incompetent, incapable, negligent, whatever. So I took things into my own control, and I went to all the courses, did all the seminars, webinars, ebooks, that you name it. I was probably there. I'm sure I've probably seen some of you in some of these courses too. I was probably the guy in the back that put my hand up and asked the presenter, so Mr. Presenter, you trade this as well? And they always said, oh no, trading is too risky for us. We're just the presenters. I said, okay, that's all I need to know. I'm out of here. I am so out of here. But guess what? You know, over time, I figured out really what works and what doesn't work. And by doing more of what works and less of what doesn't work, I actually started making some serious money on the market. In fact, I kind of mastered SPY options from the trenches, okay? Because I kind of learned along the way, and I really took into account all those things that really, really, really worked for me. Anyway, I'm not saying it's going to work for you, but it certainly worked for me. And along the way, the road to success here, I actually lost fortunes. I also made a lot of money, but I always took away some lessons from especially from the losers. So I learned the lessons the hard way, and in doing so, I'm going to teach you what I learned. And these are going to be lessons you will not learn anywhere else. That's where I do it. Okay, I teach you stuff other people just talk theory. I teach you the real McCoy, the real stuff. Okay, and that's why it's really, really important. So what we do is we day trade options on the S&P 500 SPY. We aim to buy and sell the same day, often only for a few minutes. Okay, we like to get in and out. We don't want to spend a lot of time on these options. We want to get in, make our money, and get out. We want to get out so we can target maybe 5% a day, maybe a little bit more. And that's really cool with us, because we want to make the market our slaves, not us the slaves to it. Using our system, you're not going to be doing your market analysis the night before. You're not going to be sitting in front of the computer all day and night. You're not going to be so engrossed in this that it's not going to consume you. You're not going to have to do really extensive pre-market stuff. There's going to be no spreads. All right, you don't have to worry about spreads. You don't have to worry about naked positions or any of those ultra high risk trades. Obviously, with every trade, there's going to be risk, but with the way we do it, we really minimize the risk so that we essentially make the market our slaves and not us the slaves to it. Why? So you can go and enjoy the rest of the day. I aim to find balance in my trading. All right, I want to make some money so I can go and do the things that I really, really want to do, even if it's just a walk along the beach. Okay, that's kind of what we do here. Trade SPY options. SPY is the most diversified stock out there, covering all the sectors. It's also the most liquid. It's not uncommon to see 100 million shares of SPY trade a day. In fact, most often during trading days in the winter, spring, fall, it's, you know, you'll see much more than 100 million shares traded. There's nothing that trades more than SPY. It's also very forgiving. SPY will bounce around quite a bit, and if you're in a losing position, maybe you have some unrealized losses, you know, just wait a little bit. Chances are it's going to come back if you've done your homework and the right research. SPY is also very affordable. It has a great entry. It's a great entry level stock if you're just starting out in this business. You don't have to worry about sectors or all these stocks and and all the various components out there. And you don't have to worry about what a CEO might say about its particular stock or any of that kind of stuff, or what the earnings are like, or any of that stuff. It's also very affordable, as I mentioned. You can start with relatively little amount of money and make a lot of money with options. I've had people start with even as low as $1,000 trading SPY options, and they've achieved some great success with this. All right, it's also got stunning daily profit potential, and this is very important to me. All right, I want to see no upside ceiling as to how much money I can make. And I really love that about SPY, because you can actually take, in fact, I've got a strategy that takes 1,000, turns it into $100,000 in 1 year. I know it's kind of bizarre to think that way, but it's possible, and I've got some folks who've done that, and it's not at all out of the realm of what we do. SPY also gives you that capability to offer you safety, as safe as options trading can be. I mean, there's no foolproof safe trading, obviously, because there's always going to be risk in this business, as you well know. But with SPY, it's so diversified and so incredibly versatile that you can actually have long-term growth or quick adrenaline rushing trades, depending on what you want. And those people online here are all going to receive an invite to our expiration day trading, which is going to be next Friday, all right, September the 14th at 3 o'clock. And that's where you're going to see the adrenaline rushing trades. You're going to love it. It's going to be very exciting. So expiration day trading, where there's no tomorrow. We're going to be trading the options that expire that same day. Or again, like I say, it's versatile. You can have longer term and not worry about it. You buy it, just set it, put it up for sale, don't worry about it, and it's going to give you some profit the way we trade. I also love SPY because it trades late. Options, the way we trade here, trade right until 4:15 p.m. Eastern time every day, which kind of gives you that extra little bonus 15 minutes, and I just love that. SPY options. Once I started trading SPY, I've never looked back to anything else. It's really just that good. We trade one stock, one strategy, 1 hour a day. That's kind of our motto, and we pick up 5 to 10% a day doing this. There's a real reason for that. All right, folks, I got to be honest with you too. And just like so many of you, you've probably been in this business and you've probably cut out of it a few times too. You probably said, this is not for me. I'm losing my shirt. I can't seem to get it. The market just turns against me. Market's manipulated. Goes on and on and on, right? And then you leave. But I believe that once a trader, always a trader. Because once you taste success in the market, it's very difficult to kind of forget about it. Like, I could never go back and work for anybody ever again in my life. And I don't know of too many people who can, to be quite honest with you, because once you learn how to trade and trade well, there's money in the market. But I got to tell you, along the way, there's been a few times I said, you know what, this is just not happening. It's not working. What's going on? But there are two key points that always kept me in this business. Number one was the charts. I always looked at these charts, and I spent hours. I pored over this stuff for hours and hours and hours. I'd be looking at this stuff, and I said, just take a chart, because SPY moves up and it moves down. And with an options trading program, you can actually make money on SPY both going up and down. I know it's profound, isn't it? But you know what? It's because of those the huge leverage of options. I only need the market to move up a little bit or down a little bit to make money trading options. So knowing that information, I knew there's a lot of money in this business. That kept me in. The other thing that kept me in were the options chains. Every day for the longest time, especially when I was feeling down and out, or maybe I had a bad trade or something, I'd always go back to this options chain. And again, I'd spend hours just looking and staring, and I know you got no life here. What's going on? I would look at the lows and the highs, as you can see right here, lows and the highs, and the differences between these two numbers was absolutely phenomenal. This isn't just one day. This is just the calls. I don't know, maybe it's the puts, whatever. It's the calls. It's the calls. The puts were the same, and this isn't even a huge one. I mean, there were some days where the differences would be hundreds and hundreds of percent, and I'd ask myself, listen, I'm not trying to get hundreds of percent, or even 100%, or even 50%. Can I not make 6 to 8%? Should this really be that hard? I mean, I should be able to do this by accident, no? So that kept me in this business. I always knew it's just a matter of getting that right little thing that I needed, that one thing I needed to get that direction and just stay with it. But there's actually a lot more involved than just that. As a matter of fact, there's a number of things for success in the market. And we use a combination of fundamental, technical, and psychological indicators to determine market direction and strength in the short to medium term. Sounds like a real mouthful, but it's really not that bad, okay? And once you get used to this thing, it actually flows very nicely. So very excited about this, very, very excited. All right, so I finally figured out what really works. And I'll tell you a little bit of history behind me. So once I started really working this thing well, and of course I started bringing home the toys, lots of vacations, new cars, new house, new airplane, all these things, all my friends, family, neighbors, associates would say, hey, okay, you're onto something here. What are you doing? Recessions don't seem to impact you. You don't really care. You don't talk about the price of gas or groceries or anything. You know, those other things don't seem to impact you that seem to impact you everyday people. Everyday people seem to be very concerned about things, and it doesn't matter to you. You're always smiling and happy. I said, well, I'm trading options on SPY. So then they coerced me into showing them and sort of putting it up on a website. So I would do that, and that's really where our inner circle started about 9 years ago, and it just kind of grew from there. People would ask me, well, can you show me? Can you teach me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And of course, the whole business part of this essentially grew by accident. But there's another thing that I'm going to add into this, and that is this here. Just let's go back to the thing here. So what do we do for our trading? Fundamental, technical, and psychological indicators. But there's some other things too you need to be aware of, and these are errors. And I'm going to tell you at this point, I do a lot of one-on-ones. I do a lot of webinars. I talk to a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I spend much of my day just talking to people from literally around the world about trading. And there's some real key and common weaknesses that I've noticed in probably most traders out there. And I realized that if I can just get them to change some of these things, and even if you do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, I think you're going to see a significant change in your trading. All right, and I've nailed down the 6 most common errors that I've been kind of seeing in the last little while, and I thought it'd be really good if you could be aware of these, and it'll help you in your trading. So if you can just nail these guys down, and it's all it is, and for most of them, it's just a matter of changing some habits. All right, and in combination, of course, with those other things that we do, you're going to see some real solid results. In fact, you're going to see it very instantly. It's going to happen quick. And I've noticed this because when I talk to people and I get them to change 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of those things, immediately the results are right there. So I'm going to tell you what these things are. Number 1, I cannot stress, and you're probably going to know this, a lot of these already, but I'm going to kind of get into detail with these. Plan the trade and trade the plan. I'm sure you've heard this, but what does that really mean? A lot of people just throw that out there. Well, here's kind of the way I look at the meaning of this. First of all, how are you going to get from here to there? You must have a plan that, okay, I'm looking at retiring in X years or X months or whatever. How am I going to fund that so that I can actually do it and not worry about money? Because that's really an issue, right? So what I do there is I tell people, look, start with a spreadsheet. And I have this spreadsheet that I will give to you when you join with the training or whatever. And some of you I know who are online already. I can see some of the names here. I know some of you have this already. And I know that the people who are using it are doing very well for the most part. So what is this? Well, in this particular case, I mean, I'm taking 1,000 to 100,000. This is just a sample. But have a solid plan. Have something. Here's my starting capital. Here's the date. Here's how many trades I'm going to plan on doing to take me to that place. It's just a roadmap. Because if you don't have a roadmap to where you're going, you're never going to get there. Or maybe you will by accident. We're not going to run this trading program by accident and thinking that you're going to make $1 million by accident. That's just not going to happen. So, I mean, I've got this here: starting capital, my budgeted gains, ending capital, actual net proceeds, year-to-date balance. So whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's you want to use mine or do another one, but just have a solid plan that you're going to be able to see. Where are you going to be at the end of the day? How about in 1 week's time, 1 month or 1 year, 6 months, 12 months? Where do you expect to be? And if you know where you're going to be, it's a pretty safe bet you're going to get there. Because one thing I noticed in life is if you focus on certain things, you're usually going to get them. And if you focus on good, positive things, you're going to get them. those people that focus on negative things, they get those too. You ever have any friends or people you know, and oh my gosh, you think even on a sunny day, they seem to have the darkest cloud around them because they're so negative. They seem to attract negative things. It's because they have that negative attitude. But if you look at the positive things, you're going to get that. So if you have a trading plan and you determine that, hey, listen, I'm going to start with $1,000 and here's how I'm going to build this into, say, $100,000 by a year, you're going to be able to do it. Okay, you're going to be able to do that. And it does take some discipline and whatnot, but we'll get into that in a little bit. You're also going to have to plan. How am I going to get into a position? So you're actually going to plan your trading. I mean, that's part of that trading, planning the trade and trade the plan. So when you determine what your entry point, for example, is going to be, then wait patiently until that sets up. I've got two lines here, red and a green line. And let's say your plan is to get into the position to the upside when that green line crosses the red line. Very simple. Can't get any simpler. So you enter, and that's where you wait. There's your plan. You're going to wait until that happens because you've determined that's a good place to, that's a good way of trading. And I'm not giving you a strategy. I'm just kind of giving you an example that if you have some sort of a plan, follow the plan religiously. All right. And also, what about exiting the position? A lot of people tell you when to get in, but how many tell you when to get out? So have a key point as to when you're going to get out. So maybe in this particular way, I'm going to get out when the stock hits that level over there. Or maybe I'm going to get out when a certain option, when my option hits a predetermined profit target. Maybe it's in a dollar level or a percentage level. Whatever it is, I'm going to wait until it gets to that point, then I'm going to get out. Or maybe I'm going to find some other method to determine profit or loss and then just kind of take it from there, right? I got to tell you, when you lay out your plan, stick with it. Stick with the plan and alter it only with alternate exits. In other words, you can change your plan. It's a spreadsheet or it's on paper. It's not necessarily in stone. But be aware that if you change something in your plan, you may have to change your exits and be prepared to do that. All right. So very important that you can change your plan, but make sure that you're fully aware of what the whole thing is, what's going on around it, and where your exits are going to be. Many times I change my exits. For example, I'm just going to quickly go back to this one real quick here. For example, I might want to get out when the price hits that particular target over there based on what's happened earlier in the day. But when it breaks through, I'm thinking, well, wait a second, it's going to go up to another resistance level. And I'm going to change my exit strategy now. Therefore, I'm going to get a little more profit. I'm going to take it up to the next resistance level, but I'm going to lock in that profit so that if it does drop to this point again, I'm out of it. I got my money and I'm good. So that's what I'm saying, all right? So make sure that you have a plan, you stick with it, but also you can feel free to change it, but make sure you also look at all the alternate exits. And then you have this plan. And once you have this plan and you hone the plan, you tweak it, you do with it whatever you need to make it better, always monitor the results and different things, then you can execute it again and again and again and again. It's uncanny even how many times a day you can execute the same plan and just start bringing home the money. I have folks who have taken the Ultimate Trading course and they report in unsolicited. They report in double-digit daily gains. In fact, they even did an interview with a gentleman. His name is Dennis, and he's a retired doctor in Utah. And in the interview, he even admits, hey, if I'd have known how to trade SPY the way you traded, I never would have become a doctor. Why would I go through all that? And it's just not that hard. Okay, it's not that hard to do. And be very clear with your plan too. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't say, well, if this happens, I'd like, be very clear and concise. Write it down if necessary. Just make sure you're very clear. And don't be concerned. I get this a lot. Don't be concerned about leaving money on the table because there are a lot of opportunities in the market. You have no idea how many people are legitimately upset because they only made 12% or 18% or something. And I asked them, let's see, so you just made 15% in 10 minutes and you're actually upset. He said, yeah, but do you see where it went afterwards? I could have made 59% or 60%. I said, you're never going to go bankrupt taking profits. And if you made 15% in 10 minutes, you should be thanking your lucky stars. And if you're actually upset about that, I'll have to find the name of a shrink for you, okay? Because that's kind of where it is. On the other hand, conversely, you wouldn't believe how many people tell me, oh, they're so excited that they just lost $15,000 or $20,000 or whatever it was. And they're legitimately happy about that because they could have lost a lot more. Now, remember what I just told you. Okay, it's going to come up later. So lots of opportunities in the market. It's like a city bus. All right, those of you in New York City, you know you don't have to wait long for another bus to show up, right? what about 30 seconds? All right, that's planning, folks. Number 2, failure to document, review, and learn. What's that saying? Insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing you've always done and expect changes. Why would anything change if you never learn from your mistakes? Or they might not even be mistakes. They're just the way it is. The market is what it is. But you need to document what you do. You need to review this. You need to sit back and say, okay, what happened? Let's see. Could I have done something better? Could I have averted perhaps a potential massive loss? What could I have done better? All right, here's what I do. I log my trades. I put them in a journal. Okay. And I encourage everybody at least to start until you start getting very, very successful, and maybe you can ease this off a little bit. It's up to you. But if you, I mean, this is just an excerpt from a sample. Okay. I've got here, let's see, the date over on the left, maybe a trade number, how many contracts. It's a spreadsheet. It's a spreadsheet. The buy price, the purchase price, this includes the commissions. There's my sell price. Column G is proceeds. The H is my profit. I've got the sell date there, return on investment for the particular trade, the option, which option it is, and then over there, the notes. By the way, if you need any help with setting up a log, we actually have a new program coming out where we're going to help you with that. I've got an expert Excel person online. His name is Alex, and he knows Excel like you wouldn't believe. And if you need help creating a log or journal or anything at all, he's the man. He's the man. Now, I'll tell you, this thing is very important because you need to identify any challenges you're going to have, determine how to take evasive or corrective action the next time. And you know what else? Celebrate your wins. Because when you go back into this spreadsheet and you see 100 winners in a row, you're going to say, hey, wait a second. I'm doing something right. That's right. Keeping a trading log. Here's the most important part of this spreadsheet. It's the notes. The better the notes you can keep, all right, the more effective this log is going to become, because this is what you want to go see. If you found challenges, for example, in any of your trades, like I'm just throwing this one out here. In this particular trade, lost 16%, got nervous on reversal, sold too early. Okay, these are notes you should take. Maybe go back and review them. Well, what exactly happened? What would have happened if I had stayed in the trade a little longer? What if I would have maybe cut out when I should have, or whatever? Okay, document, review, learn, go back, study them, and know that it's okay not to always be in a trade. There's always another one around the corner. I talk to people all the time. They tell me, some of the people I talk to, especially the novices that want to get in, they say, well, the market's open 9:30 to 4:15. They feel that absolute need that they need to be in the market at all times. That's not the way it works. If you want to be successful, it's success you want, quality, not quantity. Number 3, lack emotional control. Lack emotional control. I got to tell you, emotions belong in your love life, not the stock market. You must remove emotions out of the stock market or you're going to get burned. I don't think I have to tell you that. You know that. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Let me just take a look here. All right. You need to control your love, your emotions. Practice controlling your emotions. Very important. I'm going to throw out patience as an example. There's going to be a number of emotions, obviously, that you have to control. Patience is one. So as I wait here patiently to see if you're going to say anything. If we didn't have so little time, I would wait for maybe an hour to see who's going to still stay online to hear this. But I'm going to advance this. Here's what I do to exercise patience. Now, you won't believe this, but it works, because I find that emotions are like muscles. And if you do not exercise them, actively exercise them, at some point, you're going to lose them. And it's very easy to lose patience. Now, I know the old story, you ask God for patience and he gives you kids. That's not the case. We're not going to do that. Here's what I do. I I wait if I'm driving on the interstate and the speed limit is 65 miles an hour. Now, please understand, my cars like to go fast, and I like to go fast. I do not drive slow cars, and I like fast. Okay, to me, 65 miles an hour is not fast. Okay, and got the speeding tickets to prove it. But anyway, what I'm saying is this. Sometimes what I'll do is I will just take to the interstate, usually when there's not a lot of traffic, maybe if I'm out late night or something, and I will get in that slow lane and I will bring my car down to 65 miles an hour and I will hold it there. And I'm not talking about cruise control. I'm talking about just pushing the gas. And I'm going to say, I'm going to drive 5 miles in this mode right here at 65 miles an hour. I'm going to drive the speed limit. And when I first started doing that, my wife said, what are you doing? Why are you being such a, and I won't use the expletive there, but you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, well, I'm practicing patience. And the speed limit is 65, so I'm going to see if I can just do 65 miles an hour for the next 5 miles. That's very difficult, and admittedly, it was a struggle at first, but now I've gotten to the point where I can do that. But just, you know, this is what I'm saying. Find something that is going to actually exercise your patience and practice it, because you're going to need it. Because when you need patience, you want that to be there. You want it to be relatively easy to exercise that patience when you need to with the market. Just make sure that there's no heavy traffic, or if you're with passengers, there's no reason to annoy them. So I kind of do this by myself. Patience is one of those key things. Exercise it in any way you can. And by the way, the difference in time when you get to your destination, let's say your destination's 10 miles away, believe me, the difference in time is not that great between going 65 and 85, 90, 95 miles an hour. All right. So, and I'm just throwing that out there. Find your own way to exercise patience. I'm going to give you an example. This came from an email from a gentleman named Steven. I don't know if he's on. This guy's awesome. All right. I had a one-on-one chat with this guy back, I think, the end of August here. Let me see if he's on. I guess so many people online here can't really tell. I had to block out, obviously, the names and addresses because of privacy concerns, but we had this chat the day before. I think it was August the 29th. And he wrote this. He was in a losing position. He was in a very, very deep losing position. He trades a lot of money, I will admit. And he had already accepted, in our discussion, he had accepted a loss of $150,000 on a trade. And this loss is what I call an unrealized loss. Unrealized is like paper. It could be real money, but you have not cashed it in yet. And I explained this to him. I said, well, here's what I think is going to happen. I think based on blah, 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 the market's going to go down. I don't think it's going to be as bad as you might think it is right now. If it was me, because I cannot tell you what to trade, but if it was me, I would hold off and just see where this goes in the next couple of days. So he wrote to me Thursday. You can read it. Hugh, thanks for the advice yesterday. I've never in capital been so excited to lose $25,000 in my life. When the news broke about China tariffs, the market came down. I sold my puts at market when it bottomed out. I went from a $150,000 loss, unrealized loss, to a $25,000 loss. Big capitals love it. Just want to thank you for your advice, as I was about to sell yesterday and take a much bigger hit. Well, me and my, sense of humor, I didn't really know. Is he trying to give me a compliment or an insult? I said, trying to decipher this. LOL. Either way, glad you held out and cut some massive losses on that position. No doubt you'll make them up. And he wrote back to me, sorry, adrenaline was flowing. Definitely a compliment. How many times do you get a compliment when someone loses money? Well, remember, I was thinking about selling yesterday before I spoke with you. I was down big time, almost 150K at that time. It got up to 150K rather. Unrealized loss. Sold at the bottom of the dip this afternoon. I was ecstatic to get out. No sarcasm. Seriously, thank you for your advice. It saved me $125,000. Folks, this happens all the time. Discipline. Now, I'm going to tell you, I think I'm a pretty disciplined kind of a guy. All right. I mean, I've always sort of been pretty disciplined. I remember when Patty Jo McCarthy presented herself to me on my 18th birthday, I said, no, sorry, I'm going to wait. Then when my dad wanted to buy me a new Porsche 914 on my 21st birthday, I said, no, Dad, I want to earn it instead. And when my waitress offers me the most decadent desserts, yes, I can say no. But there's one thing I cannot say no to, and that is a chocolate bar. A chocolate candy bar, Hershey in particular, I got to tell you, I cannot walk into a store without walking out with a piece of chocolate. So I thought I'm going to exercise this discipline. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of these Hershey bars, and I'm going to put it somewhere where I see it all the time. I put it on the kitchen counter because I walk past there 100 times a day. I'm going to look at it, but I'm not going to eat it for that day. I'm going to eat it the next day, tomorrow. I did this years ago. Well, first day, that didn't last very long. I can't remember how long, 10 minutes maybe. Okay. I did it the following day and the following day. And every day it got to be a little bit better, a little bit better. And mentally, I started substituting that Hershey bar, even though that's what it was. I substituted for what it really was to me because I know it wasn't healthy. I thought of it as rat poison. So then after a while, when I saw that Hershey bar, I thought rat poison, don't touch it, don't touch it. Folks, I'm proud to say now I am cleared of that. I can have a ton of Hershey bars in front of me and I will not open them up unless I want to. That's called discipline. That's called discipline. These are emotions and you need to get a hold of them because now I actually have the discipline that I can do, I think, just about anything, at least that I know of. Fear is another one. All right. You gotta face your fears. Now I'm going to tell you, if you're fearful of trading, you should not be trading real money yet. Go back to paper trades. There's no shame in doing paper trades. Believe it or not, I still do paper trades sometimes too, quite often as a matter of fact. Greed is another one. Greed is the killer. For me, I think the number one emotion is greed. And not to plug a TV show here, but if you ever want to see something very entertaining, check out this show. It's called American Greed. They feature people who are probably many of them are very well-to-do. They're successful, but they just got a little too greedy. You know, $50 million a year income wasn't quite enough. Think of the guy, the NASDAQ guy. What's his name? You know the guy I'm talking about, who's in jail now for the rest of his life. Just got a little too greedy. That's the killer. If you are aware of these emotions, you can deal with them. If you're not aware, they creep up behind you. Ego is another one. I have a story. I know this lady. I'm not going to mention her name, but she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was actually a doctor, but he also traded. And actually, he did very well on gold. Well, this lady friend of mine got very upset about that, and she said, wait a second, what's he doing trading? I'm the trader in this group, and I'm going to go out there, so I'm going to buy all kinds of gold. I don't know what she got, warrants or something. Turns out that she lost, I can't remember now, $25,000 in this little thing of hers. And anyway, long story short, her ego completely took her over, and it cost some real significant losses in her trading. Folks, know your exits. Trade your exits. Do not ignore this. Don't be complacent. Always be aware of this. Number four, undercapitalized, improper position sizing. This is really important. I get this all the time. Had a gentleman from Kentucky. He's trading. He's doing okay. Doesn't have a whole lot of money. He's coming in with a few $100s, but he's very methodically edging it up. He's doing very well. But you'll find that a lot of traders, you might feel that, hey, listen, I'm doing very well. I'm going to increase my position size. I'm going to put more capital in this. And before you know it, because even though they've had successes along the way, they don't realize that every trade is unique, and one trade does not depend on the other. So you could be a hero for 1,000 trades in a row, and then that 1,001st trade you can lose it all because you made a stupid mistake, or the market just simply went against you. Be prepared to invest in training, time, and effort to master trading. Very important. Capitalization is important. How much do you need? You need ample seed money. Get some money together to trade and include covering for potential losses. All right, very important to have that stuff. Number 5, poor, non-existent money management techniques. So many times I talk to people, well, what's your money management? What are you looking at? Well, I don't have any, Hugh. I just kind of plod along and trade and trying to make some money every day. Well, that's a recipe for failure. All right. I'm going to tell you, the market has an uncanny way of separating you from your money. Don't think it can happen? It does, a lot more than you realize. And if you're not aware of your money management techniques, you are going to lose it all. As an example, I ask people, well, how much of my capital should I actually put into a particular trade. And my question is, how much can you afford to lose? I trust you're not trading the mortgage money or your rent money. What I try and say, to try and put it in some terms, some realistic terms, I say, listen, if you're going to have, say, $10,000 in your trading account, if it was me, I would trade probably about 1,000 of that. And the reason for that is twofold. Number one, you want to have a cushion in case you have to repair that trade and you have to inject more money into that position, because that's what repairing is going to require of you. And the other thing is, from a mental standpoint, you want to be clear mentally that, hey, listen, this thing has to work or else I'm out of the game. So by, say, trading 1,000 of that 10,000, that kind of gives you that mental cushion. So it's not the end of the world. As a matter of fact, if it does go the other way on you, then you can always, reverse things and you're there. You can trade the next day, is what I'm trying to say here. And this is what you want to be, because after taking your course, you're going to be the one, all right, shaking out the market and making the money. And that's just the way it is. Folks, it's imperative. It's absolutely imperative that you only trade money you can afford to lose. Stay alert with your positions. Options trading is not a buy and hold strategy. It's just not a buy and hold strategy. If you were to buy and hold, you will, well, a couple things can happen. Your options can expire worthless, or you could be in a situation, the way we trade, because we're not naked or anything, we don't get into those high-risk trades. You're not going to be called upon to pony up money to buy the stock. But you can actually lose a lot of your money if you're deer in the headlights with it. Stay alert with your positions and always manage these things. They must be managed. Practice capital preservation techniques. Whether you take our strategies on money management or find your own, just promise me you're always going to, number one, preserve your capital, because once it's gone, all right, there's no reset button in this. You know that. You can't call your broker and say, yeah, you know what, I was just kidding about that last trade. Can you put the money back that I lost? Can you give me a mulligan? They'll laugh at you. All right, number 6, failure to get proper training. I hear this all the time. People say, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm looking at this strategy. I'm looking at that strategy. And, well, this one didn't really work, so I went to another one and another one. I'm going to tell you right now, find something that really works well for your lifestyle, your budget, your time, your style. I'm not saying our system is for everybody, but if ours fits you, then we got a good match. And then hone that skill, all right, get right into it and tweak it as necessary. Don't go scatterbrain strategies all over the place, because you're going to go nowhere fast. By the way, I get a lot of people, what happens is they come with me, they do okay, but then they go off somewhere else. And then when they come back, they say, oh, man, I should have stayed with you. You won't believe how much money I lost. I'm sitting here in a paper right now, somebody I got an interview with lost $7,000 a couple months ago. Folks, trading before being properly trained. This is so vital, it's unbelievable. So many people want to jump into a trade before they don't even know what they're doing. I had a lady from doesn't matter where she's from. I don't want to identify her, because if she's online, she's going to feel bad. She got trade, and I kept telling her, listen, you don't trade yet. You're not there yet. You're not there. And she would be in these positions, and then she would email me, well, I'm in some kind of a puts, and I don't know what I'm doing, and can you help me? And oh, man. Don't do that, folks. As much as you want to, don't do it. Unwilling to invest in the required education. Don't nickel and dime your education. Invest in yourself first, because if you don't, you're going to get burned. I kid you not, you're going to get burned. Very, very important. Invest in education. I'm going to tell you something else too. When you find somebody you want to deal with, commit to that. Commit to them. Say, listen, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do, because I trust that you are going to commit back to me. And that's what we do. We commit, you commit, we both commit. So you're going to become a great trader. Very important. Want to know more? I'm going to tell you what we do. We're daytradespy.com. As I mentioned, we've been doing this now for a long time. We're actually now in our 9th year. Not bad for business that started by accident. Here's what I'm going to propose to you right here. Just 3 things. Inner circle. Inner circle. This gives you a brief summary of what I look at every morning to trade. Just a couple sentences, not a big long spiel or anything like that. Just a very simple snapshot of the way I see the market. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Here's what I'm interested in. You're also going to get a follow-up report later in the day, including a screenshot of my actual trade. I give you the good, bad, ugly. Yeah, it's all going to be there. I don't hide anything. All right. It's all going to be there. And if it's a bad trade, you're going to see that too. And you're also going to be invited to our Thursday night interactive webinars. Think of this as continuing education. Inner Circle, this is really cool. You're also going to get email support for quick questions. By the way, going back to the Thursday night webinar, this is actually your session. Any questions you have, whether it's your particular trades or market setups or the Greeks or where the market's going or anything, you can talk about anything at all. They are also recorded and archived, so you can go back to them, pick them up later on. Inner Circle, it's only $79 a month, and it's going to keep you abreast of changing market conditions. Very important. My trading room, every morning we get together at 9:20. We stick around till roughly 10 o'clock, more or less. Real-time market environment. It doesn't get any closer to the market than that. You're going to be with me. You're going to be interactive with me. It's not a coffee club or a drop-in center. Your privacy is protected. Any questions you have, I don't care what it is. You ask the question, I answer the question. We aim to place the trade earning 6% or more every day so you can learn and earn with both safety and high-risk trades. The trading room, it's $110 a week, or if you're an Inner Circle member, it's only $95 a week. The ultimate training course, I gotta love this. I know a lot of people do. When you know what, we over the years, we determined what works in both trading and training. We really figured this out. Excuse me. On our website, you're going to see a list of all our courses and ebooks. And with the ultimate training course, you're going to get the entire suite of high performance training webinars. Each is an hour long. I think it's about 10 or 12 of these things. Very topical, timely, they get right to the point. These things are very targeted, and you are going to learn. They're also, they move fast. So I tell people, look, just view them first and then go back and view them again. If you want to fast forward or rewind or whatever, pause, you can do so, and then take notes. You're also going to get a complete library of ebooks. Again, concise. There's no fluff, no filler in these things. They get very targeted right into what we talk about. Excellent, excellent resources that you're going to need to learn all about our strategy so we can fast track you to success. In addition, you're going to get 2 months in our trading room. So you are going to learn how to trade, because I got to tell you, most people who take this, they report, as I mentioned, double-digit daily gains. And you're also going to get priority email support. How cool is that? Ultimate training course, only $2,500. Folks, I'm going to tell you, if you want to talk more about it one-on-one, I'm ready to do that for you. And just book a brief go-to-meeting session. All you have to do is just go to our website, daytradespy.com, and you'll see the link there. I think it's down on the right side. And what you'll have there is my calendar, and just book a very convenient date and time so that you can set up a brief 15-20 minute session. Now, this is not to discuss your particular trade that day or something. This is to discuss where do we go from here. Okay. All right, folks. I've got some gifts for you just for sticking around this long. I really appreciate your time. I've got 3 things for you. I'm going to give you my Kick-Ass Spy Options with Trader Hugh, an ebook. Also, my Tales of Triumphs and Tragedies. True stories. The names were changed to protect the guilty. And I'm also going to invite you to my expiration day trading room. It's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern time, next Friday, September the 14th. You're going to love it. High risk, all right, high activity trades. It's going to be really cool. Folks, thank you very much for joining us. Daytradespy.com. And remember, if you want what I have, you got to do what I do. It's truly been a pleasure. Once again, thanks for the Investor Inspiration people, and also TD Ameritrade.